have done something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes.
Wait, hold on. Anything goes? Isn't that what's been happening right here in America for some time now? So, how does that make you feel? After all, our country is a land of laws framed by our Constitution, is it not? So, you might be asking, what can I do? Well, welcome to COS Indiana Live, where we'll be discussing how to use the Constitution to save the Constitution. Our vision is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Our mission statement is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So, if you've had enough of anything goes, join us every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, will show you how we can actually make a difference by using the Constitution to save the Constitution and our country. And without any further ado, here's Dale.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Maringo Mike, for that introduction. Yes, folks, my name is Dale Parrish. I am the State Director for Convention of States here in Indiana. And as Maringo Mike was saying, if you're feeling right now like, oh my gosh, what can I do now? You know, things are not going my way. The election didn't turn out my way. What can I do? Well, we've got a solution for you. As a matter of fact, we like to call it the solution as big as the problem, and that's Convention of States. So you stay tuned this evening. I'm going to talk to you more and more about Convention of States as we go on this evening. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not one of our members, part of our family, I'm going to show you and tell you how to get involved and how to join us here in Convention of States. So stay tuned. First of all, let me mention to you that this broadcast is coming to you through our state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana. But now we also are live streaming through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So if you want an alternative method of viewing our broadcast, please go to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Let me just briefly go through the major segments of our broadcast tonight so you'll have an idea of what we're going to be doing. The first segment is what I call the interview segment. And in that segment, I try my best to find and bring in and interview leadership personnel from Convention of States here in Indiana. And tonight we have one of our new district captains. His name is Lynn. He's the new district captain in Indiana House District 84, which is here in the Fort Wayne area. But we are getting, I'm telling you, we are so fortunate to be getting quite a few new members into Convention of States here in Indiana, and it's happening nationally. It's not just here in Indiana, and we're also very, very fortunate in that we're getting many new district captains, and I am going to make it my goal this year to bring on as many of those new district captains as I can and introduce them to you, tell you what district they're in charge of and what they're going to be doing. So we've got a lot, I've got a lot of guests lined up for interviews for future broadcasts. So I hope you'll enjoy meeting these individuals. They're very, very, very good individuals, very, very dedicated. I think we're really going to make a lot of strides here in Indiana in 2021. Well, that'll be in the first segment. Now, in the second segment, this is what I call the information segment, and I'll be bringing up my PowerPoint presentation, and we'll briefly go through a PowerPoint, kind of give you an idea of how we're doing here in Indiana, some general information about things here, some resources, information regarding resources that we have available here in Indiana. and also give you an idea as to what we have planned for our broadcast next Monday evening on the 29th. So that'll be in segment 2. Now, the third segment I just called the viewer comments. That's where I'll be looking at viewers that have tuned in this evening and chosen to make a comment or ask a question. And so I'll try my best to interview or to recognize those comments. And so feel free to make any comment or ask a question. Just keep it very brief, as I'm limited to the number of characters that I can display at any one time. Now, in the fourth segment, I call this the contributors segment. This is where we have certain individuals that we've designated as contributors, and from time to time, they submit to me pre-recorded clips to share their thoughts or their opinions on certain things. So, got a couple of them for you tonight. One from John Ackerman in what we call John's Journal. And then I've got another one from Maringo Mike. So Maringo Mike's going to be giving us another bit tonight on an upcoming event that we have planned, as a matter of fact. So 2 contributors in that segment. Now, in the last segment, I call this the invitation segment. This is where we're going to be giving you some more information about Convention of States, what we're all about. And plus, I'm going to tell you how to join Convention of States, because that's very important. And I want to give you the steps involved to join Convention of States. That's why we call it the invitation, because we're going to ask you, if you're not part of our family here in Indiana, to join us. This broadcast, as a matter of fact, the target audience for this broadcast is, in fact, those of you that are not part of Convention of States here in Indiana. So you're the ones we're trying to reach. And so I'm going to be telling you how to join us. And that's why I call it the invitation. So having said that, I'm now going to bring on our guest this evening to interview. And let me unmute him and and bring him on up into the studio. And there he is. Hi, Don.
How you doing, Dale?
Good. Donald Lynn. Let me get your name up here so everybody can see it. Donald Lynn. And as I said, Donald is one of our new district captains. Don's still going through the training program for a district captain. And Donald, you're the district captain for Indiana House District 84.
That's right.
Which is here in the Fort Wayne area. So good to have someone taking the lead there in that district. Well, what I like to do with all new or any leadership individuals that I interview, I always ask them to tell us their COS story, and not your life story, but your COS story, the how, when, where you got involved in Convention of States. So, Don, tell us your COS story.
Okay, well, Dale, I was interested in going to the January 6th, I should say, demonstration, or however you want to call it. It wasn't an insurrection like you hear in the media, but at least I didn't see that part of it. But went to the January 6th demonstration in Washington, and I was going to go by myself, and my wife said, "Well, why don't you let me ask these women that I have meeting with church and see if there's any of their husbands or anything that wants to go along with me." She didn't think the idea of me going by myself was a good. Yeah, I mean that's my wife for you. But she found a couple gentlemen through an acquaintance, and that would be Dr. Dan Stock and Larry Hudson, who are also district captains, and went there and had a meaningful experience. I think the whole way out there, Dan was telling me everything about convention of states that I needed to know to make me convinced that I need to get involved with that. And so that was all. That was really all the pushing that I needed to start an effort.
Very, 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 very interesting. Yeah, Dan is a district captain, and Larry Hudson is a region captain, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think he's serving both as a district captain and region captain. But yeah, you got hooked up there with two very, very dedicated individuals in our organization. Well, just briefly, Don, tell me what happened with at the rally in D.C. on the 6th. Were you close to? Did you pretty much stay with Dan and Larry during the whole thing?
Yes, pretty much. There was some confrontation with the officers, but mostly it was pretty it wasn't violent in the sense that you see it portrayed in the media. It was pretty much trying to communicate. We're here. We're peacefully demonstrating. We want to have our voices heard. There were some concussion grenades, and I think Dan actually got hit by one of those.
Right.
And I was lucky I didn't, but I saw some people with their teeth, blown out and stuff. But I got hit by some. I think what do they call those little balls that they shoot out of guns, air guns. Nothing serious.
Oh, really?
They just wanted to get. I think they wanted us away from the Capitol area. And I think when the president made his call, it was about mid-afternoon. So you folks just go home. You just need to go home, and we just did. Everybody just around me anyway. We packed up and went to get something to eat, and we left the place.
Well, yeah, we had I had Dan on as a guest on this broadcast. I think it was the 18th of January, I believe it was, shortly after the rally in D.C. and he shared with us his experience there at the rally. So it's always good to talk to someone that was actually there and actually saw what happened. So, all right, good deal. Well, that's very interesting that it was that event that got you interested in Convention of States. So that's very good. Tell us very briefly. I know you're now retired, right?
Well, I'm almost there. Actually, it'll be
almost there.
It'll be at the end of May. Really, officially, I'll be retired.
So tell everyone what you're finishing up your career as.
Well, I've been a professor in organic chemistry for about 33 years, and my field is inorganic chemistry and organometallic chemistry, and I'm gonna miss it to some degree, but maybe I'll reinvent myself, too. So it's not the end all of my life. I find that there are other things interesting to me too.
Sure.
But who knows what could happen in the future.
Well, I just wanted to mention that because it's such a very interesting career that you've had there. So tell us, Don, you got District 84 now. What are some of the objectives that you've set forth for yourself for your district?
Well, it seems like everything's sort of coming to me. I'm not really having to look too hard for things to do. Fortunately, I did send out an email blast, and I had some interested people in getting involved. And I'm going to put out another email blast telling them when the outreach that I'm going to have is going to be. I think it's going to be, or at least I'm planning on it being at a fitness center not too far from my house on Trier Road.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yes,
yeah,
Fitness Club is I think going to be a great venue. I mean, we have so many people, and the owner is really quite excited about it. So I may be able to have multiple events at this one location. They have a coffee house there, so it's really ideal. And he's going to give me a place to put a table and some sort of a poster or something I can put up there, plus the petition sign and all that can go on.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And I'm also going to invite the local reps to come. You know, I don't know if their administrative assistants can make it or they can make it, but I'm going to make that available as well.
Okay, that would be an excellent way to reach out to your legislators, because as Don realizes, all of our district captains, one of the main responsibilities of the district captain is to establish a relationship with your state representative and your state senator. So this could be a very good opportunity to invite them to come by and participate in your event at the fitness club. So very good, very good.
Yeah, that would be Dean Cruz and Bob Morris in our area here. The upper house being Dean Cruz and the lower house being Bob Morris.
Right.
You know, they both support the Convention of State, so I just want to keep it that way. That's the idea. We want to keep them involved and keep them updated on everything that's going on. That's
good. Okay. Well, I always like to wrap up our interviews on the note of self-governance, and we always encourage our leadership individuals to be involved in your government, be it the federal level, the state level, county, city, community. Be involved in one way or another in your community, and we stress self-governance. And I know you had mentioned to me some things that you've been involved in, Don.
Yes, the Civic Association for our neighborhood. I was past president for that, and we had it. We had to. Unfortunately, it was my task to raise the dues. So, it wasn't too bad. I mean, our dues are so low. It's amazing. It's almost embarrassing how low our dues are here. But we had to raise them $5. If you can believe that.
Wow.
But that was where we are. We have plenty of money in the bank now. My wife does most of the Civic Association stuff now. I'm kind of trying to do other things more. I still keep involved a little bit, but my wife's doing that pretty much now.
Okay. All right. Now I think you have also been involved in a food bank, is it?
Right. Well, the Community Harvest Food Bank. I volunteer there, and there's 2 locations. There's one out on Coliseum. We make basically these backpack lunches for the kids in the inner city.
Oh yeah.
And then down on Tillman Avenue, there's a location where people can actually come in and basically set up like a grocery. People come in and actually pull the groceries off the shelf, and so there's restocking and that sort of thing that goes on. And it's a great way to meet people, and the kind of people that volunteer are the kind of people you want to meet, really, because they're just really some of the sweetest people you'll meet.
All right, excellent, Don. Don, I wanted to show you one comment here that I've got this evening, and this is from Dan Stock.
Hi, Dan. Hey, I want to hear what my prognosis is. I hope
we won't go into any detail on this, but Don did tell me that yes, Dan Stock is a doctor, and that you are actually seeing him now. He's giving you some medical advice, and so he picked up a patient along the way here on this.
Right. I'm still doing the orange stuff that you gave me to take, and I'm still doing that fairly. I was on vacation, so I'll just tell him I was only able to do 3 of those a day instead of 4 a day, but I'm on track to get it done. So
here's another comment from him real quick here. Maybe we'll go over labs at another time. Okay.
I don't want that public information out.
Yeah, we won't go into any further detail on that.
Right.
All right. Don, thank you very much. Welcome aboard, my man. And I know you're going to do a good job for us. So thank you very much for stepping forward to become a district captain.
Nice talking.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye now.
All right, Donald Lynn. He's going to be a good district captain. I just know he is. So that is our interview segment. So let me move on now to the information segment, and let's see if I can find. I'm going to bring up my my PowerPoint presentation so that we can kind of go through that very quickly here. And I want to. Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. I want to implement the slideshow options so you can get a full view of each of the slides. All right, let's get started. Well, our vision statement here in Indiana is the same as our national vision statement, and that is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists here in Indiana. Now, our mission statement that we have formulated is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. Once again, stressing self-governance. Now, we have set forth a number of objectives that we're trying to accomplish here in Indiana in 2021. We want to raise our supporter membership level from we're at about 56,000 right now, supporters in Indiana. We want to get to 70,000 this year. We want to bring in some younger individuals, some under age 30, more of those types of volunteers. We want to grow from 4 region captains to 7 in 2021. We have 9 regions in Indiana, so ultimately one day we want 9 region captains in place. 40 district captains. We're now currently at about 33 and off to a very, very good start. So I think we're going to easily meet our goal of 40 district captains. Implement a call to action. This has to do with legislation that we are supporting. I'll have a little bit more on that a little later on. We want to develop an education program. I'll also touch on that a little bit later on. So those are objectives that we have set forth for 2021. Some resources that we have available to us here in Indiana. The number one resource is our national website, conventionofstates.com. You're going to hear us make reference to this website frequently. It's very, very important, plays a major, major role in our organization. So conventionofstates.com. Now, embedded in that national website is our state webpage, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Facebook, as I mentioned earlier, our state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana, where our broadcast is coming to you through this evening. YouTube channel, I also mentioned that. That's where we're live streaming the broadcast. But also our YouTube channel, COS Indiana, is very much an educational resource for everyone. We have some narrated PowerPoint presentations on there. We have recordings of our broadcasts that we do. And we also have links to a podcast that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, does called the Free to Be Free podcast. So it's a very, very good podcast. Paul does an excellent job. So whenever he creates a new podcast, we put a link on here so that you can easily access it. Parler, we're now on Parler, at least I am, at D.O. Parish. Now, right now, we're just posting recordings of our broadcast there, but hopefully this will be expanding our activity on Parler. Instagram, Twitter, looking at getting on some other platforms, MeWe, Rumble. I also want to mention our state newsletter. We generate a monthly state newsletter, and our folks are just doing a bang-up job, doing a very, very professional job with our state newsletter. So once you become a supporter and you opt to receive emails, you'll be getting this state newsletter every month. So it's something to look forward to. It really is. Now, some upcoming items. I mentioned legislation, and you know what? One of our objectives was to develop a call to action program. there are 3 bills working their way through the Indiana legislature right now. And it's House Bill 1123, Disaster Emergencies, House Bill 1369, Firearms Matters, and 1384, Civics Education. Our national organization has approved support of these 3 pieces of legislation. So we are heavily supporting these bills. As a matter of fact, we've had 2 of our individuals testify on behalf of 2 of the bills, 1123 and 1384. We have a third individual lined up to testify if they do take testimony on 1369. So that one's kind of coming down to the wire here. But those are the pieces of legislation that we, as Convention of States, nationally as well as here in Indiana, support. So look for those pieces of legislation, hopefully to all be approved and voted upon. Coming up March 28th is the virtual COS Indiana roundtable meeting. Now, Maringo Mike in the contributor section segment coming up here, Maringo Mike is going to say a few words about this upcoming meeting. But this is our first virtual meeting of this type. It's a town hall meeting is what it is, but we're calling it a roundtable meeting. So we plan to talk about the legislative bills that we're supporting. We're going to be also presenting some educational information and, of course, Q&A. So it's going to be a very much a general meeting, and it's going to be on March 28th. That is a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. So you'll want to be sure to mark your calendar for that and look for information to watch that. Those of you that are part of our leadership group will receive a Zoom invitation. Those of you that are not members of our organization will have the ability to watch the proceedings on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana, where we will be live streaming the event. March 28th, 7 p.m. All right. Next Monday, the 29th, I'm going to have as a guest, our legislative team, our team of individuals, our sponsors, I should call them, that are working on the bills that we are supporting that I just went over with you. So we're going to bring on the team and get an update on each of the bills and get some feedback from them as to how things are going with regard to our support of those pieces of legislation. So that's what we have for that segment. Let's see here in this segment, I wanted to kind of look and see if we got some more individuals that have joined us this evening. There's here we got another new district captain, he goes by Patrick Romack, very fine individual. And he, like I said, he's another one of our new district captains. Here we have another new district captain, Diane Jones. Diane, good evening. Thank you for tuning in this evening. Dale Tipton, another new district captain. And now Dale, I had Dale on as a guest a couple weeks ago, and we ran into some technical difficulties and had to terminate that interview, that broadcast, as a matter of fact. So, Dale, I want to reach out to you. Let's bring you on in April. So keep that in mind, and I'll be in touch with you, and we'll line up a date in April if that's okay with you. All right? So I'll be in touch with you, Dale. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And here we got George Ward. George is one of our co-state directors and our grassroots coordinator. So says, hiya, time went fast and I'm late. Well, with George, that's kind of a typical thing, you know it? So, well, glad you made it, George. Thanks for joining in tonight. All right, who else we got here? Well, Richard Cutting. Okay, Richard, I'm not sure. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Richard says hello also. Very good. Thank all of you for joining us tonight. All right. This next segment is our contributors segment. And let me bring up first our John Ackerman and John does the John's Journal contributor segment. So let's bring on John. Now I've got to mute myself here so that you can hear this clearly. All right. So I'll be back shortly.
John Ackerman again for Convention of States, Indiana. You know, my last name starts with an A, A-U-K-E-R-M-A-N. At the other end of the alphabet, there's a guy whose name starts with a Z, Zig Ziglar. I always thought, what kind of a name is that? His parents didn't have a whole lot of creativity. But anyway, Ziglar one time said, the 3 C's of life are choices, chances, and changes. And this is a quote from him. You must make the choice to take a chance if you want anything in life to change. These are days of unprecedented change. For the last year or so, the world has been going through things that we've never dreamed of. And if you want things in your life, your neighborhood, your world to change, a good way to do it is to follow Ziglar's advice. Start with choices. Make wise choices. Choose the good, not the bad. Choose to think well of people, not evil of people. And then take a chance. Some people have a pretty high risk tolerance and they find it easy to take a chance. They roll the dice and say, hey, let's go. Other people have a low tolerance for risk, and that might be you. And you might need to just take a deep breath and say a prayer and ask God to help you. Take that chance if you believe it's worth taking. And then things in your life will change. They may change for the good, they may be neutral, they may change for the bad. Who knows? But if you make wise choices to start with and take that chance that you feel called into taking, chances are, I think, pretty good that things will change, and they may change for the better.
All right, John, thank you very much. Always appreciate and enjoy one of John's contributions to John's Journal. So he's got a lot more of them already lined up. So we'll have plenty of those to show you in the future. Now, remember I mentioned about our roundtable meeting coming up March 28th at 7 p.m. Well, Maringo Mike has given me a contribution here that he wants to say a few words about this roundtable meeting coming up. So I'm going to bring Maringo Mike up and let him give you a little more information on this. Okay. Now let me. I'm sorry, folks. I've got to also do all the controls here. So I'll be right back.
Hello, welcome to a brand new series from COS Indiana called Roundtable. Once each quarter, on the last Sunday evening of the month at 7 p.m., through education and discussion, we will tackle the topics and challenges we face as we use the Constitution to save the Constitution. Join us now as we bring you COS Indiana Roundtable.
All right. Thank you, Maringo Mike. I hope you all enjoyed that. I thought that was very, very good. So we'll be talking a little bit more about this. Well, actually, I think this is this will be the last broadcast prior to that meeting. It's coming up the 28th, isn't it? So thanks, Maringo Mike, once again. Thank you very much for doing that. Well, I want to get into now the final segment and the invitation segment, and I've got another video for you. And I just believe me, at some point in time I will stop playing this video for you, but I think it's just so good to open up this particular segment, this invitation segment, the final segment. So I'm going to bring this up here and show this to you, and then I'll be right back when it's finished. All right. Here we go.
Let's talk Congress. Hey, Congress is full of people who don't know what the hell they're doing, but want to control your lives.
The longer they stay in, the more connected they become to special interests, and special interests are destroying our nation.
They give each other what they want, and they stick the taxpayer with the bill.
What's going to happen to the millennials? Unfunded liabilities plus debt now is $144 trillion.
Politicians come in and say they're going to change it, and they never, ever do.
We're not going to surrender the greatest country on the face of the earth and turn it into another failed European experiment.
The question is today, will we use the Constitution to save the Constitution?
Our framers in particular foresaw that this day would come.
The Peach State is making history. Lawmakers passed a preliminary measure today for a convention of states.
The Missouri House passed a measure calling for a convention of states.
The Convention of States.
The Article 5 Convention of States.
Convention of States.
Convention of States.
Convention of the States.
How does the Convention of States?
Convention of the States.
The Convention of States.
Convention of States.
For the States Project.
Mark Meckler. Now you run a group trying to build a movement. You're saying the work is being done across this country to get to that 34 state threshold, and whether Washington wants it or not, the people hold a convention to limit the powers of the federal government.
It's right there in Article 5.
Article 5 of the Constitution was included by the founders for this exact time, where Washington would so depart from our principles
that only we, the people, could cut it down to size. So I think it may well take a convention to wake them up.
I've been a longtime supporter of the Convention of States to reestablish the sort of guiding principles of the Constitution.
The Convention of the States empowers the people of America to get some things done that they've long wanted.
By using Article 5 of the Constitution, we can pursue reforms such as a balanced budget amendment.
It's term limits on Congress, term limits on judges, and a balanced budget amendment for America.
It's becoming 11th state to call for a convention to limit federal government power.
The Arkansas House passed a resolution that calls for a convention of states.
30 states, Steve, 30, have either passed it in their state legislature or are actively considering it. So there is a pathway to that number.
Just literally nothing like this has been done in American history.
If you want to put government back in check, it's only going to be us, the people, do it.
And so this is the last chance I think we, the people, have to get back in the control of the constitutional reins of our republic.
Inspire them to make sure that we pass on a better America.
That is the next revolution we need.
No, we have to do this.
Governor Greg Abbott is calling for more states to get on board with a push for a convention of states.
Tomorrow we're going to work to make sure that we add the 13th, 14th, 15th, all the way up to the 34th state.
A year, 10 years, 100 years, whatever it takes.
If the federal government won't do it, then we will.
Go to convention.
Well, good individuals. I hope you all enjoyed that that video. It really sums it up. What we're talking about is in Convention of States, we call this the basics of Convention of States: the problem, the solution, and the plan. And the problem that we've identified at this point in time, our national debt, the breadth and control of the federal government, and the career politicians, which we believe we need to deal with as far as term limits are concerned. So the solution, Article 5. The solution is right in Article 5. the solution as big as the problem, and that's calling for a convention of states for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution that would deal with these problem areas that we've just identified. Now, like it was said in the video, it takes 34 states to call this convention. We've got 15 states so far that have passed the resolution to call for the convention. And yes, Indiana is one of those states. We were number 6 to do this, to pass the resolution. It takes 34 states to call it. Any proposed amendments that would come out of that convention would then have to be ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures, or 38 states. Same process as if a proposed amendment would come out of Congress. Same process. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. And a convention of states, an Article 5 convention of states, has never been done. Now, a convention of states has been conducted many times in the past to solve problems. That's what that's the method states used back in the day to solve multi-state problems. But as far as an Article 5 convention of states for the purpose of proposing amendments, it's never been done. So folks, we're going to make history when we do this. We're going to make history. The other thing that I want to stress to you is in convention of states is this concept of self-governance. Now, we in convention of states, we stress that a great deal because this is the we the people part, the self-governance, and we stress that everyone needs to be involved. You need to be involved at the federal level, state level, county, city, community. Just like Don Lynn, our guest this evening, is involved in some community organizations. We all stress this very, very much in Convention of States. It's the we the people, self-governance. Get involved. So that's what I wanted to mention to you about Convention of States. Now, in my final part in this segment on invitation is to ask you and invite you to join us here in Convention of States. The way you do this is to go to our national website, conventionofstates.com, open an account, sign the petition. That makes you a supporter, and that's a very, very important step, a key step for you to take to become a supporter. That's very, very important. Now, if you feel like you've got some more time and you want to get more involved, then click on the menu selection, Take Action, scroll down to where it says Become a Leader, and look at the different volunteer opportunities that we have for you. And I would strongly urge you, if you're interested in doing this, to look at the district captain position, because that is a very, very key position in our organization. And we're in need of more and more district captains, just like Don Lynn, our guest this evening. So take a look at those, but any of those positions that would be suited for you, open it up, read about it. Make application if you're very interested. You're not obligated in any way. You don't have to worry about that. But if you make application, then I see that. I'll see your name. Some other individuals see your name. One of us will be in contact with you to discuss your interest further. So that's how you get involved, and that's what we want to see. We want to see your involvement, and we want to see you become part of our family. I'm going to wrap things up now for this evening, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I think we've had a great broadcast this evening. Put forth a lot of information. We've had a lot of viewer participation. So I'll let you go this evening. We'll be back next Monday evening, the 29th, and where we're going to have our legislative team come in and give us an update on the bills that we are supporting. and we'll get to know and learn the progress of each of those bills. So with that, I'm going to say good night, everyone. Remember, join us because we're going to make history. We're going to make history calling for a convention of states for the first time in this country. So with that, I'm going to say good night. Good evening, everyone. Have a good evening, and see you next Monday. Good night.